What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Monoposto Driver Career Mode. And today we have episode number 81, which is taking place at my home Grand Prix. That's right, it's the British Grand Prix. It's round 9 of the 2026 season, and if you guys did miss the previous episode at the Austrian Grand Prix that was uploaded a couple of weeks ago, then be sure to go and check that one out before you see this one. That was quite an interesting race, a return to the Red Bull Ring, and one thing that we learned from that weekend is that old rivals may be returning. Mercedes had produced a huge upgrade package which went on the car successfully, and not only did they secure a 1-2 in qualifying, but Alex Albon went on to take his first ever career victory. Although, as he did the whole race on hard tyres, that means he did receive a grid penalty, so therefore he will start from the back of the grid for today's Grand Prix. His teammate George Russell also looked very quick, and it's also been announced that Ferrari and Red Bull have got major upgrades in the pipelines after the summer break, which will be after the Belgian Grand Prix. With the performance index being as close as it is, it just goes to show that one small upgrade can change the course of any team's season very, very quickly. Aston Martin and Alpine, we have been the best cars all season. Audi have been a little bit inconsistent. They have had very fast cars in qualifying, but not always there to stick it on a Sunday. So with that all said, let's move on and see the grid rundown for round 9. What did I just say about Audi? They look really quick and are quite often dark horses, and it's Carlos Sainz, the man on pole for the British Grand Prix, and not only that, but his teammate Lando Norris is in third. So the Audi's looking really, really quick this weekend. I'm in P4, that's a good qualifying for my home race. Unlike at the last Grand Prix in Austria, Piastri and Verstappen have done very well to get in the top 6. My teammate's down in 7th, and of course we can't forget Fernando Alonso, the championship leader, in P2. Stroll, again, is only 10th, so still the Canadian not quite able to match the quality that his Spanish teammate possesses. Yuki Tsunoda in the second Red Bull, all the way down in 16th. There's 10 places difference between the two Red Bulls. It appears maybe Max is able to get that car much more to his suiting, or much more switched on better over the one-lap pace. Either way, this is my home race, and I'm so desperate to do well, because we've had a couple of kind of hiccups, especially in Austria. That wasn't a particularly good race for us. We obviously collided with the Ford on the pit straight, picked up a penalty, and ended up only scoring 1 or 2 points in that Grand Prix. Can we do any better? Here at Silverstone for the home fans, lights out, we're underway for the British Grand Prix, starting on the mediums, and it's a bit of a poor start. Oscar Piastri is already going to get in front of us immediately before the first corner in that chrome and orange McLaren, and Norris has made it a 1-2 for Audi, so Alonso's lost a place. Late braking then, we're going to try and go around the outside. There's a bit of contact with the Audi driver there, and that's actually allowed Fernando Alonso to retake P2. I've also managed to sweep round the outside of the young Australian and get up into P4 again, but look at this with battery usage. We're flying past Norris and Alonso down the back straight, and all of a sudden we're up into P2. Yes, we are. Apologies if there's any lag. It is while I'm commentating over this video. I don't know if that's going to show up on YouTube, and I don't know if you may have noticed, but I deliberately set my car up to be really, really quick in a straight line. We're running negative 20 wings, so we're going to be so quick on the straight, and we're also, however, possibly going to be lacking in some corner speed. However, because of our straight line speed, Silverstone obviously being very much a power circuit, that could really give us a big advantage, particularly at the later stages of the Grand Prix when we might be coming under pressure. So now we're going to try and get the DRS open. We've gone purple in sector 1. You can see a little bit slower in the middle sector, just following Carlos Sainz at this stage. Going to see what his pace is like. He's on the soft tyres. Going to let him drag me around a little bit for a couple of laps there, dipping a tyre onto the grass, unfortunately. And you can see Norris is already dropping back a little bit. The gap's around 1.5, floating around the kind of 1.5, 1.8 margin. Although saying that, I get really crossed up through the final chicane, and Sainz manages to drive away. And not only that, this has allowed Lando Norris to get another look in, as we're now on lap number 4. You can see the British driver has got DRS, and there is a bit of a train forming behind. It looks like Fernando Alonso is there also, but then there appears to be a gap to my teammate, who I think was held up by Oscar Piastri. So the McLaren clearly not able to compete with the likes of the Alpine, the Audi and the Aston Martin, all the A's which are fighting out at the front of the field today. Into the final chicane we go, and then out to the final corner and onto the Hamilton straight for the 5th time of 13 in this British Grand Prix. Norris gets a superb exit. I'm not actually using any battery, and that was probably a mistake on my half, and he flies past me, completely caught off guard there. Nothing I can do, no point trying to defend it. We'll just sit back and wait for DRS and maybe get another opportunity. It might come straight away around the outside. No, but Norris knows better than that. He knows better than to cover that off. Notice on the left hand side that Stroll and Verstappen are both on hards, as is Porsche. Could they be going to the end? who knows, that means they'll receive a grid drop in the next race. Now with DRS, or ERS, or it looks like I forgot to open DRS, but it doesn't matter. The battery usage alone, along with my setup, might be enough to get me past Norris. No, it isn't quite. I got hung out to dry there on the curb, and now the Audis are running 1 and 2 in this race still. And it looks like Norris, is he going to try and have a look at Sainz? No, he isn't. The Spanish driver does drive off, but with a bit of battery usage, we might be able to go around the outside. We get the move done before Copse Corner, and there we are. We retake second place. We get a fantastic run on Sainz, actually, and we might try and go for it through Maggots and Beckett's. It's lagging again. I do apologise. Sainz keeps his foot in. We're going wheel to wheel all the way through the end of the middle sector. This is a fantastic spectacle for the home fans out in full force to watch this race. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get any DRS there whatsoever. Perhaps we were side by side through the detection point. This one will have to come. A little bit of battery used as Norris is putting us under a bit more pressure. Alonso seems to have dropped back a little bit, and unfortunately there is going to be no move completed. Notice Alex Albon, I just noticed down on the soft tyres, is already up into 12th place from the back of the grid. That Mercedes is looking quick, you know. Sainz peels into the pits, so that means I'm now going to inherit the lead of my home race for the first time today. And now, as we're moving on to a little bit further in the race, I'm actually not going to pit and cover off Sainz, because I want to do a medium soft in this race, an aggressive one stop. So that means I need to go a couple of extra laps to make sure that the tyres will last at the end of the race. I think Norris has pitted. Alonso's 1.7 behind. Piastri's also into the lane. Stroll and Verstappen now up into 4th and 5th, but they are once again on the hards. Pourchaire has pitted off the hards, so there'll be no grid drop for him in the next Grand Prix, as I am now going to come in at the end of lap number 7. So hopefully getting the car nicely and slowed down. We shouldn't have lost too much time, because I think my pace was fairly decent on the end lap, not losing too much time, and I think Sainz might have some traffic to contend with. Looks like he's behind George Russell at the moment, so we'll have to see where he's going to feed out. Stroll and Verstappen will now be 1 and 2 in this race, and there goes Lando Norris. I didn't even see him, so that was, you know, almost probably an unsafe release there from our team as we're coming out of the pit lane. Looks like we're going to be in P5, but we're going to be about 4.5 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. Wow. I tell you what, Audi really pulled my pants down there. That's a bit of a hefty undercut, and now you can see Sainz already has cleared George Russell, so I'm now having to follow my old teammate through the dirty air, through Maggots and Beckett's. This is not ideal. I might try and go all the way around the outside. That's a lovely move, if I do say so myself. Got DRS and DRS purple in Sector 2, 2.1 seconds. We are going to be absolutely flying on these soft tyres, and sure enough, we very quickly caught up to Carlos Sainz. Not going to hang around. I'm going to try and go for a move already. Sainz on the medium tyres, so due to the fact that we kept up with him before and caught up to him so quickly now, not only will I have fresher tyres at the end of the race, but also I'll be much quicker to begin with, so that's why I want to overtake this man as soon as possible and try and pull out a lead. We've gone purple in Sector 1, and there we are, just like that. That's effectively the race lead. However, we suspect that Stroll and Verstappen might not be pitting, so I think I'm going to have to overtake these guys on circuit. And now, Max Verstappen, we're going wheel to wheel down the side of the old pit straight. The Red Bull driver looks like he's going to keep his foot in for now, so I'm going to have to follow the Dutchman through Copse Corner for the rest of Sector 2. But look at just the difference in grip between these new softs and the hard. It's not even a contest. Flying up into P2. That's just, the difference in grip, the pace we have at the moment. We are absolutely flying. However, as I mentioned before, although Sainz will have possibly more worn mediums at the end of the race because he pitted sooner, don't forget we are on soft, so we'll be very quick now, and that's just proved by me going nearly a second faster than anyone else's previous fastest lap. However, our tyres will wear out much quicker because of the softs. Don't forget though, the tyre wear is supposed to be better in 2026 than ever before, and we have definitely seen evidence of that, which is why I am now comfortable using the softs as a race tyre for a few laps. However, I just want to pull out a lead, be as safe as possible, and then just see if we can hold on to it. So that's kind of the game plan. You can say I have now overtaken Lance Stroll on track. So we've just got to try and grind out this lead then. Just get my head down. I do apologise if there's any lag, by the way. This is highly annoying. It's lagging for me a lot while it's commentating. I don't know how the video looks for you watching on YouTube. Now on to lap 11. You can see the gap's out to 2.4, and I've finally hit the drop off with the tyre wear, and that shows because I've just got my first track limits warning of the race. Obviously can't be too careful with those. Oh my word, that was sketchy through Copse there. And again, it's just the gap. Sainz has now got ahead of Stroll and Verstappen. The gap is 1.9. That's stretched out to 2.7, 3.5. Not entirely sure what's going on there. But you can see we're still on lap number 12. The tyres have really gone. That's my third track limits warning. I got another one, I think, possibly off camera. So now we have to move on to the final lap to see if I can hold on. This is going to be so interesting because the tyres are completely dead, but somehow we went purple in sector 1. I think clearly someone has just gone slightly quicker than me, but even so, this is a personal best on these worn, shoddy, soft compound tyres, trying to wring the neck out of this car, fighting it all the way through the S's. The gap to Sainz is now increased, in fact, on this final lap. On these worn tyres, it's now over 5 seconds, so it is finally looking like this might be our day. It's been a long time coming in terms of actual time. It was November when I last recorded a race where we finished in P1. That was the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 2 in this season, and now out of the final corner, we've delivered and put on a show for the home fans today, and it's going to be our second win of the season, and we're going to cross the line as a winner of our home race. Come on, we win the British Grand Prix, and we win it convincingly. We've had great pace throughout the whole of this Grand Prix, and that goes to show, and we are right back in contention for the championship, because with Alonso on course to finish in P5, I believe that means we are now only 3 points off the lead of the championship, and the next race at Hungary is the halfway mark of the season. In addition, with Ocon getting a few points, he's on 123. That means he is only 4 points behind myself, so it's really hotting up at the front of the Drivers' Championship as a result of the outcome of this race. There we go, almost, I guess you could argue, similar to the scenario that was given to us in 2020 by Lewis Hamilton. In real life, of course, that was where his tyre famously punctured on the final lap. We didn't quite get to that stage, but we were rapidly caught in the end. Sainz ended up P2. We were only 3 seconds, so I think obviously slowing down to weave and celebrate for the fans has also cost me a couple of seconds, but it doesn't matter. Sainz ends up P2, then Stroll on the podium from 10th. That was a good recovery. Of course, he decided to sacrifice a pit stop and take a grid drop in the next race. The same will apply to Max Verstappen. He ended up P4, then it was Alonso in P5. My teammate Ocon also finished, I think it was P7 or 8, I can't remember to be honest. And then in the end, Piastri took away my fastest lap of the race. There it is, what a sight to see at the top of the podium for our home Grand Prix. That one feels good. That one feels really good. And the next race, as I say, will be at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and the race after that will be the Belgian Grand Prix. Now that will be our second 35% race of the season. I don't know if you guys recall, but I mentioned at the start of the year that we'd be doing 3 35% races as a trial during the course of the season. We've done one of them. That was at Monaco. The next one is at Belgium, and of course the final one is taking place at Qatar. There's the results from the Grand Prix. Yeah, Ocon ended up P7. Norris was 6th. Slightly disappointing race from him considering he was fighting for the win. Albon recovers from the back to 11th. That's actually a pretty solid drive. The Ferraris miss out on points. Russell and Piastri getting the final points. Gasly once again being consistent. And there is the championship standings for the drivers. Stroll dropping a little bit back now. Not sure he's going to be a contender for much longer for the championship. It really does look like a 3-horse race between myself, Ocon and Alonso. But that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram and join my Discord server. Both links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.